If there's one lesson to learn from Western contemporary politics, it's the mercurial power of collectivist leftist politicians to skirt around the impediments we try to put in their way as they continue to try to expand the power of the state. So, even though Donald Trump has set a 2019 deadline for the removal of the individual health insurance mandate on American citizens, now state politicians are trying to do the exact same thing. It's true, as Raven Clabaugh reports for the New American, the patchouli-scented legislature of Vermont and the Politburo of New Jersey recently voted to mandate that every adult and their little Soviets show proof of health insurance. That's right, despite the fact that Donald Trump already responded by removing this in 2019.
We're getting rid of the individual mandate. That individual mandate.
The people of these places are represented by people who are telling them they must do something. Now, why would supposed representatives tell these people that they have to get health insurance when the people could just do it themselves?
Republican Governor Phil Scott signed a state mandate into law last month. It replaces the federal one that Congress has repealed. Officials hope it will keep people from fleeing the state's insurance market.
The main reason they're doing this is because both Vermont and New Jersey, as many other states did in the 90s, have already imposed what are called guaranteed issue mandates on the health insurance companies. That means that the health insurance companies have to issue health insurance policies to people regardless of whether or not those people already have pre-existing conditions. In other words, they have to issue them health policies even though they might be sick. It's sort of like forcing a homeowner's insurance company to have to issue a policy to someone whose house is already on fire. Now, this has the practical outcome of eliminating any incentive for young people to get health insurance. And this is exactly what happened in state after state after state. Young people drop their policies, deciding to get it after they get sick, and that leaves sicker, older people in the pool, and that increases the cost for the health insurance companies.
Without healthy individuals also included, the rates could go higher.
They then have to increase prices, and that causes a further spiraling of the problem as even more people decide, hey, you know what, it's not really worth it, I'll drop my policy and get it later.
I think that the legislature properly acted. Whether or not it'll be fast enough to stop some type of decline, that remains to be determined.
So they have to impose these things because if they don't, young people will drop their policies.
We don't really see it that way. It's really a way to encourage healthy people to purchase insurance, all people to purchase insurance.
So rather than getting rid of their guaranteed issue mandates, they are going to mandate that people have to buy the health insurance, which is exactly what they had to do under Obamacare. In fact, if you doubt whether or not this actually has this practical effect on insurance, all I have to do is refer you to a study recently done for the organization called America's Health Insurance Plans. That tells us exactly what we expect. After New Jersey imposed guaranteed issue in the 90s, rates skyrocketed. In fact, they went up 415% in a 2-year period. And after Vermont passed guaranteed issue in 1992, premiums saw double-digit increases, and the number of people with policies did what during the 90s? It dropped, despite the fact that the economy was booming. This happens over and over and over again. And there are other problems in addition to the economic problems. There are constitutional problems here. You see, what many people don't realize is that inside the Constitution, there's something called the contract clause. So when states interfere with an insurance company and a client, they are interfering with private contract. That's strictly forbidden in the U.S. Constitution. Now they're doing even more. They're going to try to force you to get a contract. I mean, how unbelievable is this?
The federal mandate carried a financial penalty. Vermont's new law created a working group to come up with a penalty by November. It may not be financial, but Mullen says that could be the only thing that works.
For the life of me, I can't think of a penalty that would work that's not financial.
It's absolutely stunning, but they have to do it because they will not admit their previous mistakes in the 1990s. I've seen this over and over again, and until people start to recognize the economic consequences of forcing health insurance companies to have to give people policies when they're already sick, and the constitutional problems that are already presented, we're going to continue to see these things. I wouldn't be surprised if even more states started to do this as Donald Trump gets this done in 2019. We're going to check this out closely, and I feel sorry for you if you live in Vermont or New Jersey or in Massachusetts, which has been doing this for plenty of years. Of course, there are plenty of reasons to enjoy those states, but politically, sorry folks, I'll be a tourist, not a resident. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.